and goal from the 1. Touchdown.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And what I wanted to, in this video, is basically go and see what it might cost the Giants in draft capital if they wanted to move up in the draft. Now, thankfully, we have a little bit of a blueprint of what it might cost, because the 49ers this year went from 12 to 3. The Giants, obviously are at 11. They're not trading up to number 3. It's very difficult sometimes to find a particular case where a team number 11 jumped up to number 4, or a particular team at number 11 jumped up to number 8, or so you got to try to realize too that things change, times change, the draft capital money being exchanged changes over time. So there might have been a case where a team was in number 11 and jumped up to number 6 or something of the sort, and it produced a certain result. But as time was going on, to jump into the top 10, especially the top 5, as time goes on, it's cost you. It'll cost you more. So we're trying to go with some recent results here. As I said, we had the 49ers this year, went from 12 to 3. Cost them 3 first-round picks and a third. Another example was, the Jets. They traded up in 2018 to get Sam Darnold from the Colts. They went from 6 to number 3. They just jumped up 3 spots. But the point I'm trying to prove here is that in the description box, there's a Jimmy Johnson draft chart, and each particular pick has a specific amount of points given to it. Like the first overall pick is worth 3,000 points. The second overall pick is worth 26. The third overall pick is worth 22, and so on down the line. Now, to get into the top 5, top 10, you're going to have to pay a little bit of a premium. If you're in the second round, you're later in the first round, second round, and on back, each pick is given a certain value, and you can pretty much, with the Jimmy Johnson draft chart, go by and say the pick that you're coming from is worth 150 points, and you want to go up, trade up 5 spots, and the spot that you want to pick, the draft chart says that pick that you want to go up to is worth 200. Well, you're giving them 150 points for a 200 point pick. So you got to come up with another 50 points. So you can just look back at the draft chart and see, come up with another 50 points worth of players, so to speak, to give to that other team. And it's fairly accurate. But when you're going into the top 10, especially the top 5, you have to pay extra. Now, it's a point in hand is 2018 when the Jets traded from number 6 to number 3 to take Sam Darnold. They traded up with the Colts. Well, the Jets traded their first pick, number 6, and 3 second-round picks to go up from 6 to 3. The third pick overall with the Colts was worth 2,200 points. The Jets, in return, had to give up, or they wound up giving up, 3,100 points worth of value, shall we say, to get that one pick. So they overpaid, if you want to call it, 900 points just to move up 3 spots to get from 6 to 3. Same thing with the 49ers this year. They went from 12 to 3. Now they gave up 3 firsts and a third. The third place pick that they traded up to get is worth 2,200 points. Where they came from, their pick was worth 1,200 points. So they had to come up with an additional 1,000 points to trade up to the Dolphins. But 1,000 extra points, but also some extra too, because it's going to cost you. So they gave him 2 extra first-round picks and a third. Now, just say their 2 extra first-round picks is the first round in 2022 and 2023. Now, just say the 49ers are picking, say, around 20th. They wound up being a decent team, and they're picking 20th. Well, the 20th pick is worth 850 points. So if they gave him a 20th pick overall in 2022 and 2023, each one is worth 850. So it's 850 and 850. So that's 1,700 points. Plus the 1,200 that they gave him already for the pick from this year. So they're up to 2,900 points. Then they gave him a third-round pick, which around the 20th spot, 25th spot could be worth about 150 points, maybe 200 points. So basically, they're giving them over 3,000 points for a third place pick, the third pick overall, which is only worth 2,200 points. So it just goes to show you, to jump in the top 10, possibly the top 5, you're going to have to overpay. So what that might mean for the Giants. Say number 4, Falcons are on the board. Their pick is worth 1,800 points. Okay, so the Giants' pick is worth 1,250. So basically, they have to come up with 550 points under normal circumstances, but you're dropping into the top 5, so they're going to have to overpay. Well, at the 49ers paid 3 firsts and a third to go from 12 to 3. The Giants to go from 11 to 4. They're only going up 7 spots, where the 49ers went up 9 spots. The Giants would probably have to give up probably 2 firsts and a second. This year's first, possibly this year's second, and maybe next year's first. Now, if you want like Kyle Pitts, you want to give up 2 firsts and a second for Kyle Pitts? The Bengals, I got them taking Penei Sewell to protect Joe Burrow. So the Giants want to go from 11 to 5, right? The Bengals pick is worth 1,700 points. The Giants pick is worth 1,250. That means the Giants have to come up with 450 points, plus some. So what might mean for the Giants? Well, the Giants might have to come up with 2 firsts and a third. Now, did you want to trade for Penei Sewell? Give up 2 firsts and a third? Or the Dolphins. I got them taking Jamar Chase. Give Mr. Tua a friend to throw the ball to. Now, the Giants pick at number 11 is worth 1,250. The Dolphins pick is worth 1,600 points. So the Giants would have to come up at 350 points under normal circumstances, but they're going into the pick number 6. So they're going to have to come up a little bit extra. So basically, the Giants, to go from 11 to 6, would probably have to give up at least 2 first-round picks. Now, do you want to give up this year's first-round pick and next first-round pick to get Jamar Chase? It's going to cost you. Or, if we go with the Lions, say we fall in love, I got them taking Micah Parsons. So the Lions pick number 7 is worth 1,500 points. The Giants is worth 1,250. Giants would have to come up with 250 points under normal circumstances. But we're going down to number 7, so they're going to have to pay a little extra. So I would think to go from 11 to 7, they might have to come up with a first, a second, and a third. Now, would you want to trade for Micah Parsons? A first, a second, and a third? Or the Panthers? Panthers pick number 8 is worth 1,400 points. Giants' pick 11 is worth 1,250. We would have to come up with an additional 150 points under normal circumstances. But we're going down into the top 10. So to get the number 8 pick, I think the Giants would have to come up with their first and a second. Now I got them taking DeVonta Smith. Would you want to give up a first and a second for DeVonta Smith? Possibly. Or the Broncos. We're not trading with the Cowboys at number 10. So the Broncos at number 9. Their pick is worth $1,350. Ours, pick 11, is worth $1,150. I'm sorry, $1,250. So we have to come up with an additional, under normal circumstances, we would have to come up with an additional 100 points to trade with the Broncos to move up. Now, the Broncos, I would imagine, to go up just 2 spots. We would probably have to come up with a first and a third first and a third. Now, I got them taking a quarterback, so I can't say this, But the thing to keep in mind here is if you want to stick it to Jerry Jones, right, who's picking number 10, and you think maybe he wants Patrick Surtain, right? We could use an extra cornerback. I'm not saying that's what we should do, but we could use an extra cornerback. Or if you start hearing things, maybe they want Rashawn Slater. You want Rashawn Slater. Jump up right in front of the Cowboys and snatch Rashawn Slater right from those Dallas Cowboys. It would cost you a first and a third. That's a possibility. But you gotta look. I mean, you want to jump way up and get Kyle Pitts. It's going to cost you some draft capital. So that's something you got to think about. But it also goes to show you how these teams now trading way down. They it's for quarterbacks. How times have changed. Back in the 70s, okay, just a couple examples here of what happened. The 1978. All right, just to goes to show you what you can wind up getting away with 1978. The Oilers got the number 1 overall pick from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And all the Oilers had to do was they had to give up their first round pick, a second, a third, and a fifth to go from 17 to 1. You know how many first rounders they'd have to come up with, first or second, to come up with to go from 17 to 1 in today's draft? I couldn't even remember. They would have to give up with probably 3 to go from 17 to 1, probably 3 firsts, probably 3 seconds to go from 17 to 1, probably. Yeah, I'm thinking something like that. Although the Bucs did, with the number 17 pick that they got from the Oilers, they did get Doug Williams, who was a very, very good quarterback. But just goes to show you, the Oilers went from 17 to 1. They traded up from 17 to 1, and they took a running back. You're not doing that nowadays. Nowadays you're trading up for a quarterback. Back then they took a running back who happened to be one of the greatest running backs of all time, Earl Campbell. So you can't blame him. But just it goes to show you, 17 to 1 they came up with 4 picks: a first, a second, a third, and a fifth. Wow. The year before that, the Cowboys. Now this one's a little more realistic. They went from number 14 to number 2. They traded with the Seahawks. The Cowboys, with the number 2 pick, took one of the best running backs of all time. Took Tony Dorsett, Heisman Trophy winner. Fantastic pick. So from 14 to 2, but this is a little more realistic. They gave the Seahawks a first rounder and they gave them 3 seconds. But just goes to show you how times have changed. Back in 1977, you could go from 14 to 2 with a first and 3 seconds. 2018, the Jets went from 6 to 3 with a first and 3 seconds. So I'm saying, what the Cowboys did went from 14 to 2. Nowadays, once again, probably be 3 firsts, maybe 2 seconds, and they only gave up 1 first round pick to go from 14 to 2, and they took Tony Dorsett, another absolutely phenomenal pick. But it just goes to show you that how important it is nowadays. You gotta get the quarterback. You're trading up for a quarterback. Back then, it wasn't necessarily that way. If you saw a running back you wanted, because it was more of a running league back then. Running back you wanted, you went and you got him. But probably the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life, as trades, first round. During the 1964 draft, the Chicago Bears went to the Pittsburgh Steelers during the 64 draft, and they went, hey, Steelers, next year, 1965 draft, for your first round pick, we're going to give you our second round and our fourth round. We're going to give you 2 picks for year 1. What do you think? Pittsburgh Steelers were like, wow, you're going to give us 2 players for our 1 pick? Oh, you got yourself a deal. Unbelievable. So the Chicago Bears got the Pittsburgh Steelers' first round pick for a second and a fourth. That first round pick wound up being the number 3 pick in the NFL draft because the Steelers were horrible. And with that pick number 3 in the 1965 NFL draft, the Chicago Bears took Dick Butkus. Talking about stupid. And you wonder why the Pittsburgh Steelers absolutely stunk until 1972. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!